In the trap, right?
This guy turned slower than Mandzukic after a couple of Happy Meals with the kiddos at Mickey D's. I have no idea why, but he just reminds me of a moose playing defense. I don't know why I slapped my hand for the turning around attackers. Maybe it should have been like this. What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is LaBelle. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. If you haven't already, hit the LaBelle, turns on the notifications. Today we're talking icon center backs. That's right, all of them. Gonna rank these lovely gentlemen that have that iconic history in order, top to bottom. If you want people to see the content, like it, tells YouTube and the algorithm everything is amazing. And comment down below. A lot of you have used at least a few of these icons, especially over the course of multiple years, multiple FIFA installments. You get the grand scheme of everything. Who'd you like? Who didn't you like? Where did you gravitate? Wrapped them up, hugged them, appreciated them, gave them 2 thumbs up, or vice versa. Not impressed, suspect, delete the club, instant discard, not happy about your icon guarantee. Oh, we're building today and the energy just seems right. Whew. Maybe the bull kicked in, Mike the bull and Mike, I don't know. If you're new around these parts, you need criteria. Write this down, take a mental note. It's pretty simple. Every player must be an icon. Also must be default position center back. Remember, we're talking about center backs, so I'm not looking at holding mids or wingers or fullbacks playing in this position. I'll make another video talking about some of the best out of position players, and if you want to be included in that video, go ahead and comment down below. I reply, drop the little hearts. I don't know why I made that a sprinkle of salt, but I did indeed. Does not have to be icon based, can be just in general. There's so many players that function or should be incorporated out of their natural position, but for continuity's sake, it's important that we do it like this. And everybody is based on ability, not price points, not value. That's not what this is about. Affordable icons was not in the title, and no repeat players. We're only gonna have one version of each of the guys in this list. That was a mouthful. I'm glad that we got that out of the way. We have 16 players to discuss. Nesta, hot garbage. 38 agility. One more time, 38 agility. A third for the people that didn't hear that in the back row. 38 agility. This guy turned slower than Mandzukic after a couple of Happy Meals with the kiddos at Mickey D's. 52 balance, 73 stamina. All of this comes together to create hot garbage. You're welcome, I speak French. Next up, Puyol. If you're using them, you're forcing it. It's like having a circular key trying to get it into a square hole. Depending on the size, you might be able to get it in there, but it's not going to work. I'm not gonna unlock the front door or lock the back door. That's kind of how I feel with Puyol. Undersized, under-delivers. Big fan of him in real life. I've said it before. He gave it all for the club. He wore the crest on his chest. Hard-working, all access, leadership qualities. Iconic is the correct word to use with Puyol. Even had the look, just hard-nosed. You didn't want a collision with Puyol. But in FIFA, and maybe for good reason, it doesn't translate. Bobby Moore. Recovery speed, you need more of it. We could call him Bobby Moore Pace, or Bobby needs more pace. Yeah, that's a bad dad pun. But his initial movements are quick. I'm gonna use a basketball example. Hopefully some of you play basketball or watch basketball. Bobby Moore, if he was on the defensive side, he's got a quick first step. He's gonna be able to stop a lot of those initial moves. However, that secondary, the 1-2, he's out of the picture. That's what I'm talking about with the recovery. It's not up to par. A little bit disappointing. But he gets a bad rep. He's more usable than folks give him credit for. Baresi, 5'9" reasons this isn't going to work. I guess we could say 59 reasons it's not going to work. It's not just about the size. Another player where what makes him special doesn't necessarily translate to FIFA success or perfection. He's good, but he's far from being great or next level or legendary. And I wouldn't say he's a quality purchase at these price points because he's an icon in the game. And I know this isn't a list that's generated around price points, but we should talk about it. I'm objective. I have eyes, you have eyes. We can read what somebody's going to run you. There's just too many normal foot items or promo releases that are better in this position. These are the facts. The Dirty Mike facts. Campbell, I've got a bias. Many of you will disagree. I expect him to be in potentially your top 8. Maybe as high up as your top 5 or top 6 for icon center backs, but I never liked him. That's not changing today. I have a bias. This guy is so clunky. One-way speed, one-way recovery, one-way traffic, and he has cost me so many games being clumsy. Guaranteed to be a train wreck, at least from my experience. and it's made it where I do not trust him. And there's nothing worse than a center back that you don't believe in. He's leading your back line. You're gonna have many instances where you have to step on the defensive end of the pitch. This is your last bodyguard. You are reliant on him making contact. Campbell gets swooshed right by. Nike check. Doesn't work for me. But I understand if you have him much higher. In fact, let me know what number is Sol Campbell for you. I'm listening. Use the comments. Ride card. Big vibes. I think I just like Rijkaard. Big body. Goes to the gym. Never losing a confrontation. A little bit on the low side for balance, and you notice it. I call him Rijkaard the Moose. I have no idea why, but he just reminds me of a moose playing defense. Maybe it is that big old body type. Maybe it is that physical nature. Maybe it's something to do with the hair. I have no idea. It's also an underrated passer out of the back. Very assertive and precise. Those are two compliments. Hierro. I'm not sure anyone's used more Hierro than yours truly. I keep buying, selling, rebuying, selling. This man makes it regularly throughout my weekend league squads. Sometimes I need that link up play. I like him. The issue is regardless if it's his baby, his mid, or his prime, they're all relatively similar. But as the game is getting into the later stages, we're getting too many upgrades for attackers and defenders. And his potential, or his max potential, his ceiling is not as high as some of the other icons. He was great and will continue to be a valuable asset for months maybe down the line, but he's starting to deteriorate, and it makes it where you have more variety, more options that are going to come in at the same type of value, and the links aren't going to be an issue. Ronnie, 5'11", might be better off playing him as a center mid or a holding mid. He's got ridiculous shooting that he kind of deserves. Scored a lot of goals throughout his career. I don't see him as a frequent player in many people's squads. The hype isn't quite there, but he shouldn't be forgotten. Should be lost in the sauce. This man is still, without a doubt, a positive influence on many teams. It's just a matter of where does he fit in best, what links are you looking to incorporate, and how big is your budget. Still not going to make this about budgets. Not heavily, but of course there are price points attached to these guys. I mean, he has 94 curve for a center back. Ridiculous. Desai, and this is the shifting point of my list. Every player that I mentioned from this point forward is still at that top tier. Premium quality. Impacting nearly every squad, and is going to be someone who's dominant. You feel the difference comparing him to many other center backs. I consider Desai in particular pretty route one as a defender. Straightforward, classic, vintage. He plays defense, he's physical, he has pace. But if you need someone who has skill moves, passing, the progression of the play out of the back, the technical details, it's not there. Lothar, he's created a bit of a conflict. When I was putting together this list, at number 7, he's in the correct place if we're talking center backs. But this is really a center mid or a center defensive mid who's starting as a center back. And if I had to take that into the consideration with the foot item, would that shift his positioning? Potentially it would. I'm comfortable where he's at, but I was also told by Lothar, he says, look Mike, I have a ladder and I'm trying to climb. I don't think number 7 is quite right for me. Fair enough. 90 defense, extremely aggressive, confidence out of the back as you would expect from more of a midfield type of player. Undersized, that will be the trend here if you're going to play him as a center back. I like Lothar, always have, probably always will. He's one of those icons that I've put into motion every single year since his involvement, his welcoming, being baptized into the FIFA world. Vidic might be a surprise for some, but I rate this man. Even his baby version as well. Very impressed, comes as advertised, no typos, 90 plus physical, 90 plus defending, and originally I thought that EA was gonna ruin this foot item. They were gonna give him low agility, low bounce, and he was gonna be very clunky, he wasn't gonna turn properly, and I'd put him into that Sol Campbell category, but I was so happy when I saw his initial stats, and even been more pleased when I've actually used them in game because they're real. It's not fraudulent activity. Vidic has been able to perform, he handles the pressure, and he has a body type that is extremely favorable if you're looking at center backs. This is similar to having the likes of a Varane or a Virgil van Dijk. He's got wide shoulders. People do not win 50-50s against Vidic. He's turning around attackers. I don't know why I slapped my hand for the turning around attackers. Maybe it should have been like this. He's gonna dictate what happens and when it happens. It's Blanc, 6'4" with a track record. I'm not mad if you interchange. Vidic and Blanc are very close. I didn't pull up a side-by-side, but even if you're comparing statistics, I reckon these are very similar overall numbers if we did a total statistic comparison. But FIFA's not all about that. It's never that cut and dry or black and white. You need to actually use the players, deal with the positioning, see how things actually resonate and connect with the type of FIFA you're trying to generate. Are you highly aggressive? Are you more passive? passive? Are you a mix of both? Do you play with balance? Are a couple of your players stepping too high up the pitch while others are sitting back and they're leaving gaps? So it is a game of checks and balances and just figuring out the correct rhythm or flow that's going to allow you to have FIFA success. Cannavaro! I wonder where you expected this Italian champion to end up on my list. I don't think anybody would discredit that Cannavaro not only is one of the best center backs of all time in real life, but even in FIFA, extremely mobile. You're gonna notice some differences with how he's able to turn his lateral movement. He's gifted and talented in many regards with how he's able to recover, how you can play a little more aggressively in exchange for having less height. He's only 5'9", but he compensates by being, as I was saying, a little more mobile, especially compared to other counterparts in this position, whether you're looking at icons or promo players or standard foot items. Let's take a moment to have a sip of wine with Cannavaro. Just feel as if he would enjoy some red wine. I don't have confirmation of that, but my good friend Marco from Italian Football TV does have his number, so maybe I can make a phone call or find out. We'll see if we get lucky here. Oh. Well, Marco declined my call, so I cannot confirm what Cannavaro wants or doesn't want or what he enjoys. He says he's on a podcast. What Italian doesn't like wine? Carlos Alberto! Man, shock value with the strength. I feel that he's a much stronger center back than you would expect. Lower rated in comparison to some of the players that are around this area on the list. I think I just match with them. I mesh with them. I don't know if it's the Brazilian flair and there's some sort of connectivity here. I see eye to eye, or we align properly. I like what he's all about. The delivery out of the back. I'm comfortable. It's the type of football that I'm trying to replicate on the virtual pitch. Some might say it's almost as if he's a bigger version of Cannavaro. Still gonna be higher on the agility and some of that quick turning. If you were in the car with him, he could definitely parallel park, which gives him a competitive advantage. And it's also statistics that I personally care about because I play very aggressive and I'm very manual with my defending. And if you're taking chances, you're taking risk, you need players that you can step with, that you can go ahead and gamble. The risk to reward, it makes your attack so much easier when you win the ball in the middle of the pitch or you get stuck in. But you need players that not only have the statistics to be able to make contact and overtake possession, but also the recovery and the speed to step into passing lanes to really utilize and maximize the anticipation. Ferdinand, anomaly foot item. You might say, well, he's a 90 overall, Mike. Fine. Let's look at his stats. 90 overall, but he's number 2 on the list. Also very expensive, which typically supports that he's of good value. 3-star weak foot, 3-star skills, 60 agility, 57 balance. Those are not good numbers. Simply put, they're not great. His physical and his defense are both good, but so is everybody else on the list. His pace, the sprint speed, the acceleration, thumbs up on that. His passing out of the back, it's okay. His dribbling, it's okay. It's not special. That's why I call him an anomaly foot item, because we're used to even seeing Ferdinand on the biggest display, competitive FIFA, when you have the full selection. You can go with anybody that you like, especially in the previous competitive years where there were no squad rules and Ferdinand was still making appearances. I'm just being objective here. Big money Maldini. 94 overall, high rated for a reason. Similar to Ferdinand in some regards. Statistically, even though he is so high rated and he's a clear favorite to be in the top 2 or top 3 defenders in the game, it's not the best stats I've ever seen. 6'1", so he's not extremely big or oversized. You don't have one of those streetwear fits where the clothes are hanging on you. His stamina is only an 81. Strength is only an 85. Defense obviously through the roof. His pace is great, but at the same time, his dribbling side with the agility and the balance is just above average. He's far from perfect. That's what I'm trying to make out of it, but if you've used him or gone up against him, he does everything right. Always in the correct place at the correct time. This man is undefeated. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to drop some love. Let me know what your thoughts are regarding a lot of these icons. It's free to subscribe. If you're new to the channel, what are you doing, man? Hit the freaking button. Hit the button. But we've been grinding daily. We're also on Twitch almost daily at twitch.tv/Mike LaBelle, and I have a lot more content coming out for you ASAP.